What's going on? It's Frank back with another Frank Look At, and I'm filming this later than I kind of would have liked. I kind of wanted more like an instant kind of reaction of how I felt about the end of the school year. I do have to go into work though tomorrow, the day this Frank Look At comes out. But I kind of the reason I was gonna talk about everything, about how like it happened during graduation, but I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna talk about how I feel. And about the school year. I'm in my bed because it's actually really late at night because I actually freaking forgot to film this. And we still got to meet the daily requirement for at least the year. So this is like a normal graduation. Kids get their names called, or promotion because it's 8th graders, get their names called, all that stuff. And then they actually had to dance in the middle of the day after, which I had to chaperone. Those school dances, not still as cringy as they always were. But that is the end of my first year teaching 8th grade history, and I had to go coach football after this, so I didn't once I left work and went to go coach, I kind of kind of moved on. But then I got dinner with my mom. I don't know, kind of I guess the feelings, I was like kind of melancholy and I want to say somber. I guess not. Melancholy and nostalgic are good words. Yeah. And it's just about the students in the entire year, and it's just like, will I feel this way every year? Maybe. If I do, then that's a good thing, and I don't ever just feel content and complacent. If I'm always feeling a bit nostalgic and melancholy about melancholy about the students I had, then that's a good thing. I'm not gonna talk about any students in particular. I just thought about if I wanted to, but that's kind of like my business and the thank yous they gave me. There was a kid that gave me a hug that I didn't expect to give me a hug because he acted all tough, but that was a nice moment. But that's all I'm gonna go into that. But it's like, it really truly is a great career, and it's something that I'm proud to say I finished the first year of. And I mean, I remember I got asked my first year as being a paraeducator. I was like, oh, why? My nose is red. I put sunscreen on. I need to put more. I should put more on tomorrow. I'll put more on tomorrow. I remember I got asked at the end of my first year being a paraeducator, why did you get into teaching? And I got asked this by some teachers that I knew. And I remember telling them, I was like, you know what? Or getting into education, because I wasn't teaching, I was a para. I was like, you know what? And I gave the sappy answers. Like, I feel like I can make a difference. And it's just a bullshit reason or whatever. But it's just like, I truly, really think that. And it's just like, will I ever be perfect? No. But will I always try my best? Yes. And I think that's why I'm feeling a bit somber and nostalgic, because these kids still have another 4 years of their general education journey, and it's like, as much as it would be cool to still see their journey, be a part of their journey, as their educator, I'm just a stepping stone for them to do bigger and better things. And I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a rude way of saying it, but that's kind of the point of a teacher. It's as important as we are, we're a stepping stone for the kids to be successful. And it's nice. It is nice. This feeling I have, nostalgia and this melancholy feel, even though it's only been about 8 hours. Actually, it's been a bit longer than that, but I think it's just, I'll wake up tomorrow, I'll go to work, I'll clean up, and I'll be good to go. I just want this feeling, just I did make a difference, and I did do good. And that's all I could hope for. And even if it's just one kid that I could help do better, then that makes me happy. It's weird. It's so weird. The school year was amazing, man. There was like times at the beginning of the school year in a few of my classes where I felt like I was like, oh shit. But once I got my routine down and got my classroom management under control, which was never really an issue, I just needed to set some boundaries while still being like the fun, laughing guy that I am. But that's that. I really don't know. Like, it's just like I don't want to get personal with stuff because that's unfair for these kids. So I'm not going to do that. But like my personal stuff, I feel like I've said this is like the students have helped me become not only a better teacher, but I truly believe I've become a better person, and they may not know, they may never know that, but I'm not the same person I was back in August of 2025, and I have them to thank for that. And I've grown to kind of like 8th grade. It's not, I still don't think it's the perfect spot for me, but it's nice. And like I said, it'll be cool. Like, it's one of those things. It's like I get to see them at the end of a journey. I don't get to see them throughout the journey. It's like one thing I liked when I student taught freshmen, and I liked teaching freshmen. It's like, oh, I can always see these kids, like their 4 years of high school, see how they evolve and become better people, how they become adults. And that was just me student teaching, even though I knew I would probably never see those kids graduate. I was like, that's kind of the vibe I like about freshmen. Teaching freshmen, and then it's like there's a chance I wouldn't only teach freshmen. I'll probably teach them a later time if I had two subjects, if I taught 2 sections of history, if I had 2 preps. That's kind of like the thought process I had. Is like you see them evolve and you get to see them become adults, which is an amazing thing, and I got to see that as my time as a para, and especially as a football coach. Even though it's just a football coach, I don't get to see I just get to see part of it. I don't get to see all the evolution. But like for these 8th graders, like there's a good chance there's some of them that I'll never see again. And that's kind of what got me. It's just like there's a good chance I'll never see some of these kids again. But I know they'll be successful, and that's what makes me happy. And that's probably the hardest part I think about being a teacher, is like there's going to be times, especially if you do teach. I think it's easier at the high school level because they become adults. It's because they're becoming adults. But like when you're teaching like the middle school level or even the elementary school level, and these kids are moving on to a different school, and they're not obviously adults. Because I mean, I know there's some teachers that are like, yeah, you're gonna follow me after you graduate or leave my class, but they like still have like 4 years left of general education of their kid. It's kind of weird. It is weird. Anyways, it's like it's the hardest thing where it's just like, as much as I want to continue to see these kids' journeys, but I can't. Because I'm just a stepping stone for them to do bigger and better things. I told my mom, I was like, it's kind of like the closest I could get right now to like having a kid, and the kid like leaving, like going off to college or whatever. And my mom actually kind of agreed with me, where it's just like, it is kind of close. It was just like, like you're part of the journey with these kids, students is done, and you kind of just gotta sit back and know that they will do an amazing job, and they will be doing amazing things going forward. I can 100% guarantee that my students will be doing amazing things. And maybe it's just, like I said, maybe it's just I'm feeling nostalgic about my first year teaching. But if I can feel this way about every year teaching until I'm in my 60s and I retire, then I've done something right. So, this has been Frank with the last Frank look at for teaching for a while. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.